Today, I'm going to show you how to do this drawing of a face. They're using a brush and watercolor, and I'm using the raw umber to lay out the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'm using a brush directly to draw this. Let's begin with the eyes. Okay, I want the hair to be right there, forehead. So this is the starting place. We start right here with the eyebrow. And then you go straight to the eye right there. And so you want to make sure that you have this distance, the bridge of the nose is right here. Right there's the eyebrows. And let's make sure that we have the right distance. And you want to make sure that this plane right there, okay? These are your planes. So you see how we did the bridge of the nose? Just like that, friends, we're going to do the bridge of the nose. And we want to make sure that this distance here is covered up for us, okay? So that we're nice and clear. Now, once you see that you have this distance, you're going to make sure it's the right appropriate distance. Then we can, that's where the eye is. That can go up like that. So you see, we're now laying out the eyes, and it's all about visualizing, getting everything in the right place, proportions. All right. So make sure that you see these planes and these distances, right, from the eye. And then you want to make sure that you have a distance here from the eye to the ear. Very important. All right. So we continue Now that we have this here, right? And we have a point of reference. So let's go to, okay, and we have the on the plane. Once again, you need to make sure that you show the under part of the nose right there like that. Right, so okay. And we have this, so you need these planes, these distances between the eyes, and from the eye to the ear. Oh, right. Now we have this part covered. What about the forehead? It's tapering off right here like that. And you want to try to make your lines nice and smooth, nice and simple. And, all right, and break it up. Take your brush off the paper. Don't stress. Just visualize it and then put it down. Here we go. Look, you see that? And this hair is coming down like this. You see that? Visualize it first. Then you can put your pen to the paper, the brush to the paper, okay? Just like that. Boom. All right, that's the way you want to do it. Visualize it first. So now I'm going to make sure that I have these distances all measured out correctly, okay? The distance between the eyes, the distance between the eyebrow down to the top of the eyelid, all right? Then the nose itself, the bridge of the nose, all right? You want to make sure you get those right. And then your proportions will be correct and you'll get a likeness of whatever you're doing. All right, so that's very important that you don't miss these distances, okay? Now let's continue. And as you can see, the angle, the way this hair is going up like this, right, is very important. Those little bends. So you see the contour bends right there like this. The tiny bend is very important. You see that? Right there like that. You don't want it to go too far. And then visualize it. You see it first, like that, like so, all right? And so there's a distance here like this, and this is where we have the ear. The ear is right about there, okay? And so friends, now let's do the mouth. There's a little bit too much water on there. So let me get that water off. Right there, friends, you see the upper lip just like that. So once again, you're gonna make sure that you have this distance under the nose. All right, the upper lip should be Now we come to the lower lip right here. Boom. You see that? Now we have the lower lip. So once again, friends, we want to make sure we stress those distances from here, the proportions, the planes, and so you want to get it like the 3D, So it's like actually bending over and it's looking, all right? So here we go. Let's continue on. And let's go for the neck. So once again, you make a judgment, you visualize what you want to draw, and you know that the hair is probably ending right here. So once you visualize it, then you can put the brush down and see, that's what I'm doing with the neck, okay? So where's the neck going to be? Right here, no, right here. So this will give you you can simply make your trials by just running your brush over it without actually touching the paper. Okay, so we established our drawing. We began with the eyes and we run up. All right, so here we go. So there's your brush under drawing, okay? And then we can color it in. Uh, so the next thing you want to think about is the values, which is how dark and the lights, okay? The dark and the lights. And the shading, okay? So now we have the contour, and we have a good idea. All right, so there's our picture. Uh, all right, now let's continue. And we establish a drawing. We want to make sure. So let's double check if we have everything right, okay? So here's the forehead. So if you look at the forehead, friends, we have this, right? This is a plane. You want to make sure that you think of it like, uh, you see the plane, this is going downward, coming up like this, like a sculptured head, all right? So you want to imagine those things. So I'm drawing some squares up here to pop this out. And there's this thing here. So you must understand that they're planes, and this one is going inside. This is a socket like that, a socket, okay, and it's a hole in there, all right? So you want to imagine these things like a hole in there, the lines I'm drawing, and then you see how this is another plane that's planing downward, right, from the nose. So you need to put those into your picture. And here, for example, it's going like this, the way I'm doing the brush. I'm going to show you by. So there's a shadow here. It's like this. And the shadow, you need to make sure that you form it. It's going to take the form. So when you lay your shadows, it's more like a sculpture. like you're sculpting, okay? So you see under the nose. So once again, friends, as you can see, right, I'm taking the form, forming it, and use your brush, right, to make those bends and to make those forms, like I'm doing here, you know. All right, so you see the nose. We want to make sure that you get those shadows in the right place. All right, so that it's right. As you can see, right now, the bottom here under the thing, there's a shadow. And so these values are very important to make the form correct. Okay, so I'm just laying them down right now to see. All right, so here I'm giving it the 3D form. You see, let's not forget the under. This one is important. These details. All right. So as you can see, it's still very light. You want to pop things out even more and get them. Okay, so let's try to do that. All right, now as you can see, there's a shadow here. So the first thing I want to do is to see what it's going to look like and then attack the values. You know, that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to get a little bit bolder and make it more darker here and there, you know, to pop things out even more. And let's see how we are doing that. So here we have now a good way of thinking about what this drawing is going to come out like, all right? So we need to make those shadows and the reflected lights to really give it a form. All right, so now let's darken it, get bolder a little bit, and start darkening it up. All right, see, here we go. We're gonna to make it even pop out everything more. And this is the value work, right? Very important to do. All right, see how it's taking shape now, right? Nice and good. Now, let's try to do that. You just need to try to follow the way the hair is flowing down, okay? So your brush strokes are gonna just like flow down the way. So as you can see, guys, now it's taking good shape. And what exactly did you do from the beginning? Those planes and those curves, those distances between the eyes and the nose and the bridge of the nose and the upper lip down to the chin and to the cheeks. Once you establish all this, you're then able to attack values. All right, these would be the values: situation, darks and lights to pop things out. And then to do this in color is a real tricky thing, you know, because you want to be able to match those colors in the black and white and gray shades. So which color is going to belong to this gray color? Which one do you think is going to be the darkest black or like this, you know? So that's the tricky one. You see that dark value right there in the middle of the lip, the nostril, all right? This is the way to pop everything out, okay? To make sure that the values are in the right place. Now let's go to the eyes and like, so the upper eyelid will always be dark, all right? And there's going to be a, okay, and let's put in some color just to distinguish everything. So there's always, you want to leave a little bit of a white spot in the eye, okay? And then throw in a little black spot. And this is your trick to make it really, really pop out. So, and so we began with the eyes, friends, and we covered all up to here, and we got down here. So we're going to be a little bit of a break, and we'll try to come back and finish it and add a little bit more details and see where we come up with this picture, okay? So stay tuned. I'll take a break and come back in about 5 minutes. I'll be right back, and I'm going to leave a note here. Back in 5 minutes. Back in five. There it is. Back in five, friends. I'll be right back. We got all the way up to here in about 20 minutes, I'd say. So, as you can see, friends, here we go. We're going to continue, try to finish this up. And so far, we did quite a good job coming all the way up to here. We started with the eyes, went to the bridge of the nose, with the forehead, so on and so forth. And so now let's see if we can put in some color and see what we can do with this, okay? So I'm just using some light color. And, it doesn't matter like about reality or how real it looks. You want to get those values correct. Don't worry about like realistic drawings. Those days are gone. Now you want to be creative. So here I am putting a little bit of watercolor gouache, okay, and try to get those in. So top everything up, okay? So as you can see, friends, here we go. Boom. And this will be a little bit shaded area, so I'm using something a little darker. I want to try to leave a little white streak right there. And we can go over those shadows again one more time. But, and this will be kind of the lightest area right there, okay? So we once again establish this a little bit more. We're coming to the tricky part of it because the colors are, so let's differentiate this. Let's darken it a little bit more here and blend that in. Definitely a little bit more darker here. Everything okay? All right. And so those are the values and we just come into it. And whatever color we put, all right, and we make the All right, there we go, friends. You see how we're bringing it up from all that down to something. So we can always like go back and change the colors up later on, lighten it up. But basically, what I wanted to show you was like how to do these little thumbnail sketches, you know. That will be the black pupil that you're gonna have to put in there, okay? And that's an error, friends, right there. That's a big drop of water on her eyebrow, okay? So how are we gonna fix it? With a little bit of dry brush, we want to suck up that water and try to blend it in, you know? So the little mistake that I made by having a blob of water, I'm just trying to blend that in. All right, so the blob of water that we dropped here is fixed up. All right, so there's the shadow. So here's a simple, basic kind of all right, what we came up with. Okay, I would say thank you for watching, friends, and I'm going to be putting all these live shows. Please join me, subscribe, all right, and let's try to finish this up a little. Okay, and so I'm just throwing a little bit more color in there. See, as you can see, you can keep working on this and try to get it better, put in more color, and so on and so forth, okay? But this will give you a good thumbnail feel for what your paintings, you know, would be like, okay? So there you go, friends. You have a nice idea of how to get to this point from nothing, from scratch. Okay, so let's lay a little bit of background. Uh, We have ourselves a nice thumbnail sketch. And all these things that happen, you can leave them. They're good, happy accidents. The effects that you get on the background like this, you could just leave them, make something out of the accidental effects, by going over it. So there we have a nice thumbnail sketch. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everyone. That'll be all for today. See you soon.